time in the academy and started making friends, she became burdened by guilt. She didn't want to be a spy anymore and wanted to be a proper witch. So when she got the chance to join the special training, she jumped on the offer. But she never imagined a member of the Dia Ignis would show up here. Hort falls to her knees heavy with guilt, but Seb puts on a forced smile as he says that it is not her fault. Seeing his effort, she decides to no longer deceive her friends. She immediately takes out Kudo's tail and uses it as a spell offering to unleash bright blue flames. She attacks Tyron with them, and he snatches his robe from Seb's hands to protect himself. The robe blocks the attack, and Hort freaks out as Tyron approaches her. He is about to smash her, when suddenly Seb hears the voice of Ludens asking the boy to use him. Seb is entranced by the staff, and he picks it up despite Lu's objection. The staff core glows as it absorbs his magic, and then suddenly, the black fluid spreads out in all directions. Everyone is worried about Seb as the black fluid streaks distort the area and then form a giant sphere around them. A few hours later, Seb opens his eyes to see Hort on top of him. He flusters and backs away, and she immediately hugs him while crying tears of joy that he is still alive. However, Lu is not happy about what happened and lectures Seb as she shows him the destruction he just caused. She yells at him that using the staff of Ludens is suicide, and then calls all 3 of her students completely reckless. As they continue the journey after that, Seb asks her why he is still alive. Lu tells him that his magic was simply much more than what Ludens could absorb. While everyone else is shocked, Lu believes that Seb has practically infinite magic, which is why he finds it so difficult to use magic like normal wizards. Lu then tells Kudo that he is coming with them this time, and when he tries to refuse, she climbs on him until he gives in. He says that he should at least find and reattach his tail. But Hort tells him that she used it as a spell offering, and he loses his temper. At night, Seb and Hort sip coffee outside while Lu and Kudo rest inside the inn. She removes her hat and makes Seb feel her antlers while telling her the story of her childhood. In her childhood, everyone said that the horns were proof that Hort was the child of a demon, but just now she learned from Lu that she has the blood of a beast folk in her veins. Beast folk are created when a witch grants the power of a beast to a warrior. However, if both the warrior and the witch die, the power attaches itself to the witch's bloodline, which is what happened to her. Hort thanks Seb for trusting in her and kisses him on the cheek before running off to sleep. Just as she leaves, Lu pops up right next to Seb and tells him that Hort would have let him hit if he tried just a bit harder. The next day, the other 2 wizards are arrested by the police because they were leaking out information to the church in exchange for money. Lu declares that only 4 of them will continue the journey now. First, she wants Kudo to heal his destroyed hands using healing magic, but he says that healing magic uses the most magic power, and he doesn't have enough of it. Lu replies that he has Seb, who has a magic power bank with unlimited charge. She reveals that the most efficient way of magic transfer is by kiss, but Hort immediately rejects even the imagination of the unholy kiss between Seb and Kudo. So Lu tells them that they can use normal skin contact as well. However, if things go wrong and Kudo absorbs more magic than he can handle, he will die a horrible death. That is why she decides to be the connecting link between them. Lu holds their hands and transfers magic from Seb to Kudo, who chants the healing spell, and within seconds, his destroyed arms and tail are completely regenerated. The villagers are amazed to see this, and Lu calls for a party, and everyone gets busy singing and dancing. Soon after that, they reach a huge city where a passing carriage spills mud all over Seb. Lu tells him not to worry because her usual hotel has a very nice public bath. As Seb and Kudo clean themselves in the boys' bath, Kudo reveals his backstory. 6 years ago, he was part of a freak show. A powerful witch attacked at the northern region and destroyed almost everything. Kudo somehow survived the destruction and was rescued by a church knight. That time, beast folk were still heavily discriminated against, but despite that, the dragon-riding knight saved him with a smile, and ever since then, Kudo has dreamt of joining the church and mage army like him. The next day, they resumed their journey peacefully. Everywhere they go, people are familiar with Lu. She knows the best places to fish and rest. She teaches her students how to survive in the wild and also encourages them to use magic to help others. Everyone opens up to her, and she tells them that because she lives on the power given to her by the staff of Ludens, she has been a lowly for over 300 years. She doesn't even need to eat, sleep, and she can't even reproduce, so life is boring for her. So the only thing that makes her feel alive is having fun, and she feels really excited when something dangerous happens in the world. One day, a boy comes running towards them and tells them that it is not safe for them to be outside. He grabs Lu's hand and takes everyone to a hollow tree trunk, where he uses a magic spell to create a barrier that hides them perfectly but doesn't block the sound. Suddenly, a white tiger beastman comes there and starts calling out the boy. He threatens to break his friend's bones if he doesn't come out. The beastman hears the heartbeat of the people hiding in the hollow tree trunk, and he swings his blade at them. The barrier is shattered and the boy tumbles out of it. Seb and his friends jump right after him to protect him, but the beastman mercenary says that it will be impossible to use magic against him because he will kill them before they can finish chanting their spell. Suddenly, he notices someone behind him and turns around to find Lou lunging at him with an attack. The beastman parries her attack and she tracks back to a tree branch, telling her students to run. They follow her command, and when Lou taunts the mercenary if he is not going to chase them, he replies that turning his back on her would be suicide. He seems oddly knowledgeable about the staff of Ludens, a special training program, and the witch village, which frustrates Lou. The mercenary withdraws from the fight because he knows he cannot win against her and tells her to head to the village immediately because her students might be in danger. At the same time, Seb, Hort, and Kudo have safely escorted the boy to the village church, where a blindfolded priest named Dan greets them. The boy tells Dan that the three people saved him and he asks them if they are wizards. Seb is confused and asks how he knew that, and the priest says that everyone in the target village knows that they are going to be here. Seb then asks him about the tiger beastmen who attacked them, and Dan says that the beastman named Yohai is a mercenary who guards the village on behalf of a witch and tells the students to run away from this place because it is dangerous. He explains that 2 years ago, the witch stationed here by the academy suddenly surrendered to an invader without even fighting. The invading witch took control of the area, and since then, no one has been able to oppose her. Seb suddenly realizes that 2 of the students in the special group were arrested for snitching on the church. Hort was a spy, Kudo is a beastfolk, and Seb himself is the worst student in the academy. He believes that they were sent here to get rid of them in a roundabout manner, and his friends freak out on hearing this. Kudo says that they should contact the church and mage army, but Dan informs him that they still call themselves the church army in this region, and it won't help a village with witches and wizards. While everyone is in doubt, Lou suddenly makes her appearance. She asks her students to doubt the shady-looking priest because he may very well be in league with the tiger mercenary. Dan asks her to try killing him if she is so suspicious, but Lou claims to not be a fan of needless violence. She asks him to take them on a tour of the village to prove that he is not an enemy. The priest obliges and takes them to the village they are supposed to stay in. There they find the father of the boy waiting for him. The boy named Leos and his dad give them a tour of the village and say that the former witch was truly their friend. Kumino asks why she abandoned the village without trying to fight the invader then, but the man has no idea about it. The rest of the villagers hide from them in their homes, and he explains that they are not fond of strangers. He then takes them to a house where 4 human-sized dolls are hanging creepily. Leo's dad explains that a couple of years ago, some people tried to escape the village, so the witch and her mercenary dealt with them and put these dolls as a threat for anyone who tries to leave. However, he insists that the witch doesn't cause any problems for the villagers if they don't break her rules. They enter the shabby house after that, and as Lou finishes examining it, she declares that they should kill the witch controlling the area. Hort suggests that they can go back to the academy and get help from the church and mage army, but Seb is opposed to the idea since it will turn the village into a battlefield. He wants to do something about the problem on their own. However, Kudo grabs him by his collar, telling him that they have no chance to win against a witch who can command the fearsome tiger mercenary. He claims that this fight will end in their deaths, but Seb takes his hands off and says that when he touched the staff of Ludens, he realized that he was not afraid of dying. Hort meekly says that the mere thought scares her, and Seb just tells her to leave the village with Kudo so he and Lou can fight on their own. With tears in her eyes, Hort says that what she meant was that the thought of Seb dying scares her. He cannot understand her words with his single-digit emotional quotient, and Hort starts crying as she runs away. Seb tries to chase after her to apologize, but Lou stops him because if he apologizes without knowing what he did wrong, the girl will get even more hurt. Kubido tells him that Hort was hurt because she considers him a friend and doesn't want a friend to die in vain. Seb understands a bit now, and he runs to find her and apologize. Meanwhile, Hort is in the church, where she meets a tiny and timid girl named Lily who tries to comfort her. Suddenly, the blindfolded priest appears behind them and scolds Lily away. He then asks Hort about the reason she came here, and after telling him about her fight with Seb, she tries to leave, but then notices the symbol of Dia Agnes on the priest's cane. She freaks out on realizing that he's an enemy and starts walking backwards when she suddenly finds herself tied in strong strings. Dan draws out a scythe hidden in his cane and points it at Hort's neck, telling her to resume acting as a spy for the anti-witch faction if she wants to live. On the other hand, Seb returns to the house empty-handed. He could not find any information about Hort, so Lou decides to track her magic instead. The search leads them to a cave in the forest, where they spot blood on the floor and Lou senses the magical trace of multiple people inside the cave. Kuno wants to retreat because it is a trap,